In just a moment, X-1. But first, an important subject in these days of snow and blizzard is how to fight the common cold. And tomorrow, NBC's Weekday deals with this problem in a special feature by Dr. Leona Baumgartner, New York City Health Commissioner. Yes, it's NBC's Weekday to keep you up to date in every field, from health to housekeeping, from politics to pots and pans. And there's also the best variety entertainment on Weekday, tomorrow headed by Metropolitan Opera star Robert Merrill. Listen every Monday through Friday to NBC's Weekday. And now stay tuned for X-1.
Countdown for blast-off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight's story, $1,000 a Plate by Jack McKenty.
Ferry ship from Demas Space Station carrying cargo and passengers from Earth now arriving in Blasting Pit 6. Radiation clearance and quarantine officers report to passenger conveyor. Mars Airways to New Chicago, Port Kelly, Marsport Park, New Amityville, and Nova Massapequa. Take off in 15 minutes. All aboard.
Excuse me, sir. Could you help me?
Sure, buddy. What'll it be? Cards? Dice? A little shot of distilled huckleberry?
No, I just wondered if you could direct me
Brother, you came to the right man. I can direct you anywhere you want to go. That's what I'm here for. You just get off the ferry?
Yes, I came on the Phobos Queen.
Yeah. You know you can spot him in my business. All right, what'll it be now?
Well, I want to know how I can get to the observatory.
The what?
The Mars Observatory. You know, the Astronomical Research Center.
What do you want to go there for?
I work there, or at least I will.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. You're one of them double-dome stargazers, huh?
Yes, I'm an astronomer.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of you guys out there under glass, but I don't get out of town much. I got to keep my hand in, you know. Are you sure you wouldn't like a little flutter before you settle down in your rut?
No, I never play cards. Occasionally a little chess.
Uh-huh. I don't know if they got any chess in any of the casinos, but if you want, I could arrange it. You know, play against the house, $5 apiece for the kitty, and a C-note for checkmate.
No, thank you. Can you direct me to the observatory?
Well, you'll have to get a sand hack. None of the regular buses go by there. They just hit the casinos on the strip. Hey, I'll tell you what. The next ferry won't clear for another half hour. I'll walk you over to the hack stand.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you, Mr.
Just call me Pusher. It's on account of my occupation, you know.
Oh, I see. I'm Enright C. Bensinger, Dr. Bensinger.
Well, it's a pleasure, Doc. Right this way.
Well, this isn't exactly what I expected.
Your first trip to Mars, huh?
Yes, it is.
Well, you'll get used to it. Out this way. Adjust your gills.
Gills?
Sure. Well, what do you think you're going to breathe outside that door? There isn't enough oxygen on Mars to keep a mouse alive. They gave you a standard issue when you got off the ferry. It's in that bag.
Oh. Yes, I'm afraid I was reading when they explained it. The quarterly journal from the Harvard Observatory, you know.
Hmm? Oh, yeah. I never miss a copy. Now, look, you put the nose clip in, see, and crack the valve. This way it compresses enough air to keep you going. Okay? All right, let's go.
Cold.
Sure, it's cold. Sand hacks are right up the street there.
Beautiful. All the colors in the sky. I am surprised, though, in an atmosphere this thin, the sunset shouldn't be as spectacular.
That ain't the sunset, Chief. That's the new sign on top of the Canal Casino. Right there behind you, see?
Fun. Fun. Fun.
Yeah, but if you want a square shake with the dice, you go to Harry Harvey's place, the Red Sands Hotel.
I suppose the seeing is excellent.
You're telling me. You know, he's got a line of girls like you never see nowhere else.
Oh, I'm afraid I meant astronomical seeing. The telescopes, you know.
Hey, you got an idea there. Telescopes.
What's that?
Nothing. Fireworks. It's a Mardi Gras.
Oh, what?
Mardi Gras. You know, big party all over town. Parades, costumes, liquor, fireworks, gambling. You know, big celebration.
Well, what's the occasion?
An eclipse of the two moons.
Oh, but that occurs very frequently.
Oh, sure. You'd be surprised how much a Mardi Gras ups the take on the strip. Well, here are the sand hacks, and look, don't let them hackies charge you more than $15 for the trip. Just tell them you know me. Just tell them Pusher sent you.
Gentlemen, I want you all to meet Dr. Benzinger, our new colleague. These are Doctors Fitz, Spiegel, Ortney, and Klein. I'm sorry to introduce you to our team at such a critical moment, but our situation is rather desperate.
Well, I'm afraid I don't understand.
Spiegel, show Dr. Benzinger your plate.
Here, just look at this. Just look. It took me 8 weeks working with the computer to plot this plate, and look.
Well, it seems fogged. These streaks, I don't believe I've ever seen them on an astronomical photograph before. What are they?
Skyrockets, that's what they are. Skyrockets. Morton, I tell you that they fired them in our direction on purpose.
All right. Calm down, Spiegel.
Calm down. Do you realize that it will be 12 years before this particular conjunction can be photographed again? Morton, you've got to do something.
Couldn't you write a little note to the Chamber of Commerce and ask them to eliminate the fireworks?
We've written a note every time a small boy lets off a Roman candle, and it was no use.
I tell you, they fire them this way on purpose.
I'm afraid that's true. The other directions around town are either oil refineries or homes of the casino owners.
I don't suppose there's any chance of moving the observatory, then, out into the desert.
My dear Dr. Benzinger, we'd have to bring in crews to tear it down, other crews to move it and set it up, not to mention breakage and replacement, which would involve more freight from Earth at $7.97 per pound, dead weight. As it is, the immense costs add up to a staggering total. Do you know what a single photographic plate costs us, counting overhead? $1,000.
Well, then what is the answer?
Another letter to the town council, I suppose. Let me write it this time, Dr. Morton. My grandmother used to have several rather picturesque phrases which I believe I could translate.
No, Spiegel. Dignity, remember? We are an adjunct of Harvard University. Dr. Spiegel, I shall ask you and Dr. Benzinger to accompany me in person to the town council. Surely they cannot turn down a rational request in the interest of science.
Well, gentlemen, the town council appreciates the problem.
Yes, I felt certain it would. Naturally, you're aware of the importance of astronomical research, Mr. Harvey.
Well, I can see your point, Doc. You sit out there in your little glass hut, pointing your brownie camera up at the stars, snapping away. But you got to look at our point of view.
Oh?
Now you take my place. Harvey's Red Sands. I got a heavy investment. 14 crap tables, a half a dozen roulette wheels, and the rest of the overhead. I got to keep them wheels running. It's the Mardi Gras that drags the suckers in.
But really, Mr. Harvey, we were just asking you to curtail the pyrotechnic display.
Now, wait just a minute. I'm as clean living as the next guy.
Oh, Dr. Benzinger means the fireworks.
Oh. Well, I'd like to help you out, boys, but I look at it this way. Those stars you're looking at are going to be up there for a couple of 1,000 years. But a sucker is different. You got to grab him while he's still healthy.
But in the interest of science, surely the town council can't agree with you.
Doc, the town council is made up of Joe Rocco, Pete Carney, Alex the Armenian, and me. We own the 4 biggest houses in town. So go ahead, fellas. Take all them snapshots you want to. And if you happen to lower your telescope, get a couple of good ones through a window of the Grand Canal Hotel. I'll take a couple of 8x10 enlargements. I'll see you around, Doc.
Well, I'm afraid the town council was no help.
They just remain insensible to reason.
Well, I'm afraid the only thing those gentlemen understand is money.
My dear Dr. Benzinger, the smallest bet allowed in Mr. Harvey's establishment is approximately the same as your monthly salary.
Oh. Dr. Morton, suppose the gambling operators were suddenly to lose a great deal of money.
They never do.
Of course, with the ordinary layman playing against them. But suppose the best scientific brains were to concentrate on a simple matter like the probabilities of a given roulette wheel, or the combinations and permutations applicable to a game of poker. We could put the main computer on it.
Doctor, are you seriously suggesting...
Well, I think he's got a point. If we could give those casinos a shellacking, they might stop the fireworks just to get rid of us.
Now, let me get this straight, Doc. All you eggheads up there made up a kitty to get into a crap game?
Well, that's right. I thought you might direct me to the largest establishment, Mr. Harvey's place, I believe.
Now, look, Doc, come over here. No, over here in the corner. Now, look, I'm a pusher. See, my job is to take these tourists by the lapel and shove them in front of a dice table quick before they spend any of their lettuce foolishly on food and lodging. But these rubes, they come here expecting to get took. They don't miss it, you understand? It's all part of a good time. But you guys out there running your Harvard peekaboo racket, you're different. Now, what do you want to get mixed up in this for? You take your peanuts home and shove it in a piggy bank. Save up and buy yourself a new telescope or something.
I appreciate your solicitude, Mr. Pusher, but I'm quite determined. Which way is Mr. Harvey's place?
Well, if you've made up your mind, the bus leaves from right over there in about 15 minutes. Get a round-trip ticket, because Mr. Harvey don't want no suckers stuck without they got car fare away from his place.
I shouldn't worry about that. Frankly, I expect to leave Mr. Harvey flat broke. I'll see you just before dawn. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
But what happened?
Luckily, a certain Mr. Pusher was generous enough to lend me $15 for a sand hack. Otherwise, I would have had to walk.
Well, that was rather decent of him.
Well, not exactly. He said he gets a percentage when he pulls in a ripe chump.
You mean it's all gone?
Every dollar. I just can't understand it. I kept careful notes. I followed the formula that was worked out by the computer. I calculated the odds by slide rule, carrying them to the 4th and 5th decimal place. I just can't understand it. Mr. Pusher said that I had a frigid digit.
A what?
A cold finger. I gather that's the opposite of a hot hand.
But according to the games theory as outlined in the last International Congress of Theoretical Mathematics...
Unfortunately, at the last Mathematical Congress, they weren't trying to make a 4 the hard way.
There they go again, skyrockets. I was hoping to get at least 3 plates in before they started.
And the crushing blow occurred when Mr. Pusher offered to sell me my horoscope.
No.
Yes. Oh. He said anyone was a fool to get into a dice game if the stars weren't right.
Now, there's an example of what we're up against. Medieval superstition existing side by side with hydrozyne rockets and nuclear space drive. Shocking!
I'm not so sure. Might be a good idea.
Dr. Morton sent for the staff psychiatrist. Benzinger has scratched his reflector.
No, gentlemen. Pusher was right. Every man who's going to gamble should have a horoscope. It's very important to know what the stars say.
What are you talking about?
And where on Mars is the place best equipped to tell you what the stars say?
Oh, no.
Dr. Benzinger.
Gentlemen, I tell you, it may be a stroke of genius. Hello? Is this the advertising office? This is Dr. Benzinger. I should like to place an ad. No. No, there will be no pretty girl. Just this. Free. For the first time ever, your horoscope scientifically cast by the staff of the famous Mars Observatory. Learn your luck, your future. Write or call Mars Observatory. No charge, no obligation. Yes, thank you. I'd like to run that every day until further notice.
Pusher,
Yeah, Mr. Harvey.
did you do like I said?
Yes, sir. I went out to the observatory just like you told me. You know, I had to share the sand hack with 5 other guys. I understand the bus company's putting a route out there.
A big crowd, huh?
Sure, Mr. Harvey. You know, them horoscopes they're giving there, the only thing on Mars that don't cost the tourists any money.
All right. What happened?
Well, when I got out there, there was this Doc Benzinger, you see, all dressed up in a dunce cap with stars on it or something, in a big robe. They showed us all around the place. You never saw telescopes as big as that.
All right. Skip the travelogue.
All right, well, finally they took my name and my birth date, my collar size, and they run it through this computer. You should have seen that thing. Lights and bells. I'm telling you, it looked like the biggest pinball machine you ever saw. I kept waiting for it to tilt.
The horoscopes.
Yeah, well, they give it to me finally. I mean, the first couple of pages is the ordinary bourgeois about the sun and the moon and the stars. But on the fourth page, that's the kicker.
What'd it say?
Well, it said that I'd be real lucky at most of the gambling places, but I'd lose my shirt at... boss, you're not going to like this.
Go ahead.
I'd lose my shirt if I played at Harry Harvey's place.
Pretty shrewd. You know, for a bunch of scientists, they're pretty smart. That isn't going to work. Who in his right mind is going to pay attention to a lot of hooey like that?
Sure, Mr. Harvey. Can I go now?
What's your hurry?
Well, I'm going over to Purple Flamingo to play a little poker. I mean, after all, they say I'll be lucky any place but here. I mean, you can't argue with science.
Gentlemen, I think we're on our way. I checked Mr. Harvey's establishment. You could shoot an elk in the gambling room.
Empty, eh?
There was nobody playing but an elderly masochist who likes to lose.
Dr. Morton, we have a visitor.
Bensinger, I have asked you please to take off that confounded astrologer's hat when you come into my office. It embarrasses me.
Oh, I'm sorry. But, Doctor, allow me to present Mr. Harry Harvey.
Hiya.
How's business, Mr. Harvey?
Yeah. Well, look, gentlemen, let's put our cards on the table. You put a hole in my pocket like I haven't had since I once ran into an honest police lieutenant in Cincinnati.
I presume you've come about our horoscopes.
Yeah. Let's shoot or get off the foul line. How much?
I beg your pardon?
How much will it take to lay off?
Mr. Harvey, just a promise.
What?
You're on the town council, Mr. Harvey. Now, the next time the question of tourist entertainment is discussed, we want you to vote against any fireworks display.
Well, sure, that's no problem, but look, I'm only one vote.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Harvey. Every one of the casino owners on the council will have his turn to be mentioned in the stars.
Yeah? You gonna knock us off one by one like a flight of ducks?
Well, that's the general idea.
I gotta hand it to you. I gotta take off my hat to you.
Mr. Harvey, we're desperate. We cannot afford to let valuable and irreplaceable photographic plates be spoiled by fireworks.
Okay, you win. But listen, here's 5 bills.
$500? But we couldn't take it, Mr. Harvey. I've already explained.
It's not for me. I want you to take a full-page ad and do the Purple Flamingo in your next horoscope. I'd like to see Joe Rocco's face when he gets a load of it.
All right, Mr. Harvey. We'd be glad to take him next.
Oh, and one more thing before I go. Can I look through the telescope? I never looked through one before.
Well, that's the last of them. The Red Sands, Frank Land's Paradise, the Martian Gardens, the Two Moons Club.
And the Purple Flamingo. Dr. Morton, we've got them all.
There will be a meeting of the town council a week from now, and after that, no more fireworks. All those beautiful stars and nebulae and not a misbegotten skyrocket to stand between us. Oh, it's beautiful.
Gentlemen, I have some news for you.
You have?
I am in receipt of an interplanetary radiogram from our parent organization, the Harvard Observatory.
Are they going to send the new mass spectroscope?
Please. Morton, Earth newspapers carrying accounts of horoscopes published by your organization. Very unscientific. Harvard Board of Overseers aghast. Must stop at once. Find other solution. Signed, L.K. Bell, Director.
Well, I thought Thursday was the regular day for personal message delivery.
It is.
Oh, Mr. Harvey.
I asked Mr. Harvey to wait in the washroom. He brought the message down.
Oh, sure. All of us have contacts in the radio office. We can get a hold of messages a couple of days before they clear.
Did you come down to gloat over our misfortune, Mr. Harvey?
No. You got my promise to help you boys, and I'll stick by you. But the rest of them, well, it's tough, fellas, but business is business. I'm afraid the fireworks will go on as usual.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey.
Look, what would happen if you brought all the boys out here, showed them around, and then you could offer to name a star after them or something? I'd sure like to be able to point in the sky and say, That's Harvey's star?
Well, Mr. Harvey, I'm afraid any stars worth looking at with the naked eye already have names. Besides, Harvard Observatory wouldn't stand for this idea either. It would make as much sense to them as you naming a poker chip after me.
But, Dr. Morton, we've got to think of something.
We tried rigging up a photoelectric cell. It closes the shutter when a rocket goes up, but it cuts the exposure time too much.
But if we can't get these plates, we may not be able to duplicate them for years. Why, right now, they're preparing the first trip to a newly discovered planet. And the work of the observatory is necessary to ensure the success of that trip. Now, surely your colleagues will realize that, Mr. Harvey. The future of the human race is at stake.
Doc, the only race those jokers are interested in takes place at Tropical Park.
Look out there. They're starting the fireworks.
All of them heading this way again.
No. It's nothing personal. It's just that if we point them any other way, they're likely to splash people. Or maybe set something on fire.
You mean if the rockets misfired and get the tourists all wet, there would be trouble?
Oh, sure. You couldn't have that. A guy with wet pants ain't going to stand around no crap table for hours.
Mr. Harvey, do you really want to help us?
Well, sure. I promised, didn't I?
Dr. Spiegel, do you think the research library would have any material on pyrotechnics?
Bensinger, what do you have in mind?
Well, Dr. Morton, I was thinking of fighting fire with fireworks. Careful with that match, Harvey.
Oh, don't worry. With the oxygen around here, you need a blowtorch to light a cigarette.
Have you got the rockets ready, Dr. Bensinger?
Well, here they are in the launching racks. I've got all my instruments, compass, a clinometer, an azimuthal radioscope, and a blowtorch.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Spiegel. He's bringing the calculated trajectories from the computer.
Say, I don't know if I like this. What if they miss? Or they go off too soon or something?
Oh, nonsense, Mr. Harvey. You forget. We're scientists.
Here are the figures, Bensinger. We double-checked them on the master computer.
All right, then, let's go. They'll be starting the official fireworks any minute.
Azimuth 360.3570.
Check.
Elevation 49.3740.
Check.
That's corrected for wind, velocity, temperature change, and magnetic eddy currents.
Are you sure you guys know what you're doing with them skyrockets?
Don't worry, Mr. Harvey. They're going to explode in the Grand Canal and get everybody in the Canal Casino all wet. You shouldn't object. After all, it's your competition.
Coming up to 0 hour, Bensinger.
Light the torch.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire.
There they go.
Oh, interesting effect. That's the purple color.
Oh, do you like it?
Yes.
That was my idea. Radioactive fluorides.
They're up over the town now.
Hey, one of them's beginning to wobble.
Oh, I can't understand that. The computer was absolutely certain.
It's going over the south of town.
The other one's tracking correctly on the radar. It'll hit the Canal Square.
Yeah, but look, the purple one. There it goes. It hit.
Looks like it's starting a fire.
Hey, must have hit somebody's house. Hey, you can see it now. It's a house burning.
Oh, dear. There must have been a weak tube in the computer.
Yeah, some guy's going to be real sore. I can see it real clear with the glasses now. That house on top of the hill there by the Geeko bush. Boy, it's burning like...
Mr. Harvey, what's the matter?
That's my house!
Dr. Bensinger, I've called you in to read a letter that I've written to Mr. Harvey. Oh, do you know his address?
I believe he's staying at his gambling establishment. His house was a total loss.
Yes, well, yes. This has been a very difficult letter for me to write.
I believe the letter is academic, Dr. Morton. Mr. Harvey is outside.
Oh, he is?
With two very large gentlemen with bulging pockets.
Oh, dear. I don't know what to say. Well, Mr. Harvey, what a surprise.
You two apes wait outside. Now, Dr. Morton, about those fireworks. I want you to know I believe in direct action. I don't like fiddling around.
Well, of course not.
Like the time I had some trouble with a bottom dealer from Luna City. I didn't fool around. I sent him back to the moon in a cargo rocket with no air.
How interesting.
Now, about your problem.
I assure you, we apologize.
Apologize? That's great.
I just remembered I left a few plates in a bar.
I don't go away, Doctor. You're in on this, too.
No, there wouldn't be room. Not for two of us.
What are you talking about?
Well, in a cargo rocket, especially without air.
What? I'm trying to tell you. The council voted against fireworks.
No, as a matter of fact, I have a very bad sinus, and no air would definitely... What?
Oh, sure. We decided anything that could burn down an honest citizen's house was too dangerous. Very civic-minded, that council.
But I don't understand.
I kept my promise. I said I'd help you, and I did.
Well, I'm terribly embarrassed. We were trying to get a collection among the staff to help you pay for your loss, but I'm afraid the total assets of the observatory wouldn't reconstruct your garage.
Yeah.
But we held a staff meeting, and we decided on a more permanent kind of remembrance. Mr. Harvey, on this photograph, you see this trail? This bright trail?
Oh, one of them skyrockets again? I'm sorry, Doc. It won't happen again.
No. This is no skyrocket. It's a comet. It will be quite bright for several months, and we've decided to call it Harvey's Comet.
Harvey's Comet? Hey, that's real nice. Harvey's Comet. Hey, Doc, you put me on top of the world. Them boys at the Canal Casino boasting about their new sign. But me, I got a comet. Harvey's Comet. Why, every sucker on Mars will see it every night. It's the best advertisement since they wrote 7 down across the face of the moon.
Well, I'm glad that you're pleased.
Well, as a matter of fact, Doc, I kind of heard about it in advance of one of your boys. You named the comet after me? Okay. I brought something for you. Here.
What is it?
A poker chip from my place. Go ahead, read it.
Harvey's Club.
Hey, good morning, Joey. What's up? And I was just fixing cameras, trying to get things situated here. Hey, that's better. All right. Oh. Yeah, what's that iconic sound I hear? That's my bongolator. That's my my beaker. My beaker. I should light it with a Bunsen burner. I should. That'd be cool. Oh my God, did he say Bunsen burner? My gosh. So, I had fun putting together the video time machine yesterday. I waited till the last minute. Uploaded it last night. Took 2.5, almost 3 hours to upload. But it's pretty bitchin'. It's got some interesting things on there. Some of the stuff I put on there comes from Japan. Some of the stuff I put on there is there to kind of give a nod to Richard Chamberlain and Val Kilmer. There's a little nod to Aldous Huxley because we've been talking about that. Dimension X, we've been talking about that. So I decided, you know what? If I can figure out what I'm going to do during the week, what I'm going to discuss on my themed days, then I can appropriately match the video time machine to kind of what we were doing that week, right? So that's kind of where I'm hoping this video time machine season will fall. I wore my teeth yesterday for about 4.5 hours. I didn't try to eat. In fact, I was sitting here trying to keep my mind off of eating and off of my teeth because after an hour or so, immediately when I put them in, they were uncomfortable. After about an hour or two, it was unbearable. It was excruciating, but I kept them in. My wife, she's like, you're not going to get used to them unless you wear them. So I put them on and I kept them on. And then it was like, all right, it's late. It's 8 o'clock. I need to eat something. So I took them out. And the adhesive, the glue, was the worst part. It took me forever to clean that stuff, to get it out of my mouth. It was horrible. I'm going to switch to the adhesive tape and see if the tape will do me better. But my mouth isn't sore, so I will be putting them on again tonight and wearing them for another 4 hours. And then what I'll do is I'm going to wear them as long as I can every day and then try to extend that out so that eventually I'm wearing them all day long. I'm just trying to get used to them, wearing them, talking with them. Talking is the hardest part. You know what? If it comes down to me being able to do everything with these dentures except eat properly, I'll settle for it. All right. Eating was no fun with those dentures in. Eventually, it may become easier, but as of now, I don't want to have anything to do with it. So, my diet is as it stands now is mainly made up of beans. Beans and tamales and meat that has been cooked for like 3 hours so that it mashes with a fork. And that's fine. I'm okay with that for now. I was really happy yesterday to be able to whistle. I can't whistle. So I was really happy to be able to whistle and smile a big toothy grin at my wife and daughter. So that was nice. And mainly I put them in like my daughter wears her retainers. Okay, she wears her retainer. She used to have braces. She says, Dad, I only wear my retainer when I'm at home and not doing anything because it's a bummer and it's uncomfortable and I can't wear it at night, yada, yada. She says, so you should wear it, when you're at home and, you feel like you can wear it, and then if you don't want to, then you're at home and you can just take it off. I'm like, that's my girl, the smart one. So, yeah. So every day I'm going to try to get them on and then just wear them for longer. Eventually, you may see me wearing them here in the morning. hopefully I will be able to talk better. It's just that my tongue doesn't know what to do. The dentures take up a little extra room in my mouth, and after 3.5 months of no teeth, having extra amount of stuff in there is just, it's crazy. I can't pronounce any letters correctly. Well, half of them I can't pronounce correctly. It's just the S's, and I just got used to pronouncing letters correctly with no teeth, and now I've got to bounce back and forth. Eventually, if I'm wearing them all day, then that'll be less time that I'll spend with them out and talking. So I should be able to get better at talking with them in. And then if I can just take them out at night before I go to bed, not do too much talking, and then put them in the mornings, and not do too much talking before then, I think I'll be all right. I think I'll get this figured out. Icon coming up in 3, 2, 1. Play this thing like a saxophone. So anyways, I ate a bunch of edibles last night so that I could go to sleep and stay asleep. Because I had so much sleep the other day. I was afraid I was going to be bouncing off the walls again. You have one Coke for dinner and then that's it. You can't sleep. Totally. Oh my God. So this is the last official. Let me turn up my microphone in there. This is the last official day with this particular cup, this mug. This mug is now going to go on the shelf until I've gone through all of my mugs and I come back to this one. And I do believe it's going to be a mug a week. Now I am going to get a little teapot, coffee pot, little ceramic, about as big as one of these dudes, or bigger. That is good. And that way I can make a pot of coffee mixed with creamer and stuff, nice and hot, and then set it on my warmer. And then I can use my little cups, because I got some cool little cups with flowers and decorations and stuff. And I love flowered cups. Flowered cups, flowered shirts. When I was a teenager, I used to shop. I used to shop in the girls section for pants, because I used to like those stretchy pants with the floral patterns and all the cool trippy designs. I used to call them happy pants. My daughter has a few pair of happy pants, and they're just those tight pants, no pockets. They were kind of pre-yoga pants, all right. They were a tiny little bit baggy down in the calves, right? Because they weren't yoga pants. They were just, I call them happy pants. They were just tight, flowery, multi-pattern pants, and I used to love those. The paisley, the dark black with the real bright oranges and purples and yellows and blues and stuff. So I used to wear those. Those were cool. I have no idea. I do not remember where I was going with this. Yeah, back in the day. I got excited about happy pants, and then I lost my train of thought. I should work on plugging this hole here, because, well, we gotta fix this. This bong's got a hole in it. I gotta put something in it. Fix it. You know, you gotta fix it when it's broken. When it's broken, you gotta fix it. Yeah. So what's going on today, Joey? What are you up to? Are you off? Are you awake? What are you doing? What'd you do last night? What are you gonna do today? I don't know what the hell's going on. I really don't. I don't know. I really don't. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that Vienna Vienna is done with his North American tour. Possibly. I don't want to speak out of turn, but that's what I think is going on. So, Vienna Vienna, Jay from Vienna Vienna. Who is Vienna Vienna? Come on over and hang out. I will officially put it in the description at some point, an invitation to Vienna Vienna to come out and hang. Ah, you're off tonight. Ah, so I gotta go to bed, man. I gotta work tonight. So that's not gonna happen. You're gonna hang out. No, man, I gotta go out and party tonight, so I gotta go to bed. Oh, man. That's always the case with you youngsters. Totally. I'm asking my daughter. I'm like, so do you have anything going on in June? And she's like, yeah, I got 2 concerts. And I'm like, oh. Well, there's a concert I'd like to go to. My wife's like, I don't want to go. Your guys' shit is too crazy. I said, no, you're going to love this stuff. And she's like, no. I have the album picked out for today, so next week I'll pick out some Pure Prairie League, which is who is playing out here at Pappy and Harriet's Pure Prairie League. So Monday I'll know whether or not I have tickets, and I'll go ahead and post some links to some of their music. Ah, you were sleeping last night. Nice. That means you're wide awake, mofo. Bring it on. Bring it on. Oh, yeah. That is good stuff. Good stuff. Mr. Good Stuff. Who do you think you are? So, because I had my dentures in last night and I was trying to keep busy, I got done with the video time machine and I saved it, and then I booted it up onto YouTube, and it took like almost 3 hours. So I picked up Aldous Huxley's Brave New World and finished reading it, and it was great, man. What a bizarre ending. I can't wait to watch the TV version movie and see what's what. Yeah, poet, playwright, novelist, short story writer, travel writer, essayist, critic, philosopher, mystic, and social prophet. Aldous, this is reading from the back of the book here. Aldous Huxley was one of the most accomplished and influential English literary figures of the mid-20th century. In the course of an extraordinary prolific writing career, which began in the early 1920s, he continued until his death in 1963. So his death in 1963, while on his deathbed, he asked for liquid mescaline. He asked for LSD on his deathbed. He wanted to fry balls on his way out. That's crazy. I mean, I've taken acid before and I've taken mushrooms. I've never taken peyote. I've taken acid and mushrooms a number of times, mostly before the 2000s. Mostly. Most recently, a few years back, I did microdose some mushrooms for about 2.5 months. Little bitty tiny bit twice a week. Never got buzzed off of it. But I was able to reprogram my brain chemistry so I wouldn't spaz out. And it still helps. You know, when I'm out in the world and I just want to freak out and rage, I just go to my happy place. And it's there waiting for me. All I have to do is open the door and walk in. And that's what microdosing gave me. It gave me the ability to walk through that door. So, Aldous Huxley, when he passed away, he literally asked for some frickin' lysergic acid, some mescaline, some shit, man. I think about it, and knowing what it does to you, I'm like, I don't even think I could do that. That's to know that you're dying, and then to have that stuff pumping through your system, magnifying all of your thoughts and emotions and imagination. I mean, where's it going to take you, right? That's some heavy shit. That is some really heavy shit. Wow. Yeah, so Monday we're going to do some Minecrafting. Finally, we're going to get back to Minecrafting. I've been off for, it's been 2 weeks now. Well, it's going to be 2 weeks because you miss a week and there, boom, you get your 2 weeks gone. Miss another week, boom, 3 weeks. I only do it once a week. So when I miss a show, it's kind of a bummer. This weekend I'm going to be putting together some kind of Grateful Dead concert to be listening to. Susie, who's probably not here right now, so I can say this, I'm going to try to find her last show, the last show that she went to in Tampa in 95. I'm going to see if I can find that one and create a video out of that for Susie. Finding her first show, that's a tough one. So I'm going to see what I can do. And then I'll hit her up and ask her if there's any other shows that she went to that are like her favorite shows. And then maybe I can, you know, it's neat to know a deadhead so that you can kind of talk shop. So I'll pull up some audio and some cool video stuff and make some cool, 2.5, 3 hour long fucking video. That's what was great about their concerts, that they just went on forever. I've gone to sleep at a Grateful Dead concert. My first Grateful Dead concert, I actually passed out on the lawn during Space. I passed out during drums and woke up at the end of Space, and I was like, did I miss anything? And I was like, not really. You want to hit off of this? Right? Oh, speaking of falling asleep at concerts, Monday night we were at the Palladium, and I told this story on Tuesday, but I'll go ahead and say it again because we're talking about sleep, and maybe I didn't mention this part, but I fell asleep at the Palladium during the show. And the funny part is that I'm just realizing is that it was during a portion of what was considered to be, to me, like Space, right? It was Chiodos were playing, and we had found some seats. There was no seat, but we found some seats. So I'm sitting, and I got my cane stool propped up with a pile of shirts. My daughter. And so I'm using it as like an elbow rest, and so I'm like kind of leaning up against the chair and the stool and everything, and I'm kind of propped up, and I'm watching. I'm actually watching Blade Runner during the concert with the captions on, so I'm getting the words coming through. So I'm just reading Blade Runner, and I've seen it like 1,000,000 times, so I don't even need the captions on. I know what they're fucking saying. I want to do this bong hit here, so I can lose my train of thought. So there I was on the beach, and I had like nothing on from the waist down. Okay, so I'm at the Palladium, and we're watching Chiodos. Now my daughter, we got into the show, found our chairs. She took off, went to the restroom, got cleaned up, went to the bar, ordered some food, came back and sat with me and ate. Before the concert started, she finished her food and said, okay, and got up and marched straight out into the audience, right out in front of me, and then started getting closer and closer to the stage. So she was out there, and I was over here. And I'm like, well, so I watched a couple episodes of Home Improvement, right? Once again, seen it 1,000,000 times. I know what's going on. So, the first 2 acts were very hard and aggressive. Come on, let's get violent. Come on, fuck each other. And I'm like, oh, my daughter's out there. Am I going to have to get onto the stage and punch this dude. You know, you want some violence, motherfucker? You know, there's kids out there. And there were fucking kids out there. It was an all-ages show. And I'm like, come on. So they get done. The first act gets done. Callous Dowboys. Hard and aggressive and not too good. My daughter's like, eh. So I'm like, hi, honey. We're here. Natalie's out there. I'm just chilling out over here. She's laughing. So I'm like, okay, let me talk to Natalie. So I text my daughter, and I'm like, show me where you're at. Hold up your light. So I look out. She's like directly out in front of me. She holds up her light. Waves. So, Emure, the next band comes out. And they're hard. They're even harder and more aggressive and more violent. And fuck somebody up. And I'm like, come on. And they start barking and shit. So I'm over there just laughing, trying to keep myself together. So by this time I'm watching Blade Runner. And, yeah, it's like, all right, whatever. Hawthorne Heights comes out. They're great. They were actually great. And they, like, admittedly, like, yeah, we're just emo, and we're totally not like this stuff. We're the totally different group on the bill. And they were actual music. And then, by the time we got to Chiodo's, they got back to the hard stuff, and I'm like, oh, geez, Chiodo's hard stuff. It was really good. It was, you know, aggro, not emo. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of just in a sleeping position in the back of the room, and kind of following Blade Runner and listening to the music. And then all of a sudden they go into some song that's just kind of repetitious. It was just kind of a repetitious thing with a lot of weird sounds and stuff. So I'm like, I doze off, and I wake up, and there's nobody on stage, and it's this weird repetitious beat and static and weird whoosh, whoosh. And so I'm like, okay, is it over? And then after a few more minutes they come back out, and I'm like, and then I look at the clock, and I'm like, dude, you guys ain't been on stage long enough to do a walk off and walk back on. I seriously, come on. They only occupied the stage for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, it seemed like. And maybe an hour, and they were off the stage for 15 minutes. I was like, what? Yeah, I don't get it. My daughter's like, yeah, they were a little bit more than she was used to as well. But she was really, I know she was there for Hawthorne Heights. She really likes them because they're emo, and that's her thing. So yeah, that was fun. I'd never been to the Palladium before. My father had been to the Palladium in the 1960s. I think he said 66, early mid-60s. Faces. He went and saw Faces at the Palladium. Rod Stewart, Jeff Beck, Brian Jones. You one of them guys? Yeah, that'll have to be an album for next week, for sure. Totally. So next week's albums. What album was I talking about earlier? What album was I just talking about? Shit, I hate a brain fart, man. I reach for my pen and paper, and that action totally wipes out. So Faces, we'll put that one on next week. And there was another one that I was talking about doing next week, but I'd already picked out the album for this week. Yeah, it'll come back to me. And if it won't, it don't matter then. So this is a Flashback Friday here on Mornings with Crazy Old Weird Bearded Guy. EBS here. That stands for Elsinore Brothers Studio. Studio, not studios. This is a studio. This is it. You're looking at it. This is the studio. I'll turn my cup so you can read it. Estudiante. Soy estudiante. Soy un estudiante de Vive. I don't know. I'm the student of life. How do you say? Did I say that right? I don't know. If I only had a co-host to ask me questions. Totally, man. This is like fucking wow. Yeah, I'm one sorry son of a bitch. I'm telling you. I'm pumped, man. It's like I'm back to waking up every morning pumped just because I woke up. Is that good or bad? I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. If I could just retain that pumpedness, that energy level throughout the day, that would be fantastic. Mostly it wanes at about noon. My energy and my excitement start to go, mainly because the caffeine wears off, and usually because I've only had about 3 or 4 hours sleep at night. Not so. I got into bed relatively early last night. I think I was in bed by 9 and asleep by 10. We're in bed, and I get in bed and I put on my sleeping pill movie, which is Blade Runner, of course, which is probably why I went to sleep at the concert. And so I put the movie on, and I take a couple of hits, and I turn my light down, and I'm like, all right, I'm just starting to... And usually I sit propped up for a little while and just kind of close my eyes until I'm nodding off, and then I'll throw my pillows out alongside me and lay out straight on my side. And I'm laying there, and my wife gets a phone call, so I'm like, okay, I'm jerked awake, and it's like, there she's on the phone, and I think it's her brother. And so she's Mexican, so she starts talking and laughing and talking and laughing, and it's like a freaking fiesta over here next to me, and there's a party going on, and I'm like, honey, you're gonna have to go out in the living room. Like, I'm trying to nod off here, and so she goes on, and she just doesn't even blink, you know. She gets it. And that was pretty funny last night. So there she's standing with the phone and pulled on her jammies, and comes out here and hangs out on the couch with one of the dogs. That was pretty funny. Honey, could you go have that conversation out there, please? Shut the hell up! Get the hell out, come on! Before mushrooms. After mushrooms. Honey, could you please go out there? True that. Okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of what book I want to read now. This was a work of fiction. I'm probably going to look for an autobiography of this guy. There's a few autobiographies I've been looking at. I have one back here that I got, which is a memoir from Carol Burnett. So that's a good one. Tom Selleck is one. Tim Matheson is one that I'm interested in reading. And then, of course, there's Aldous Huxley. I'll have to see if I can get anything by Aldous Huxley. And then I'm hoping I can find an actual autobiography written by Dennis Weaver. I don't mind if they've like co-written, but I like to get first-hand stuff. Dennis Weaver, long time in Hollywood cowboy. Yeah, I believe he came to Hollywood at the same time as Rance Howard, Ron Howard, Clint Howard's father. So that would be neat to read that. It's unfortunate that Rance Howard never wrote an autobiography, but most importantly, it's awfully sad that he never wrote a how-to book for raising Hollywood children, because he did such a fantastic job with Ron and Clint. Granted, it wasn't always, peaches and cream, but my gosh, what a successful family they created. So there you go. There you go. So let's see. I'm going to get over here onto my little computer. And bada bing. Bada bing, bang, boom. I am going to look something up. It was something that Mike said yesterday, and I don't even remember his call sign from yesterday. And usually I try to take a snapshot so I can find him later. But because it takes a day or so for my live stuff to go through the checks and for the comments to be available. And then I can click on his icon, go to his stuff, and then subscribe to him. Because I like to reciprocate in kind. But there's something that he said yesterday. Okay. He said something about the Amish shop. He was going by the Amish shop. And I'd never heard that before. So I just wanted to come over here and take a look at some of this stuff. And they're handmade wood items, quilts, and that kind of stuff. So that's cool. Little wooden lighthouses and wooden wheelbarrows, little mini barns, and wagons, and armoires, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. So the Amish shop Amish, totally, dude. Arr. Coffee. I'm gonna have to warm up this coffee. In fact, I'm gonna warm it up now. Whilst I'm gonna have another drink. Might as well have a hot one. I'll be right back. Don't nobody go nowhere. There we go. Having some of the Big Bang. So, yeah, dude. Yeah. The Big Bang-erino. Still drinking Pete's. Pete's coffee, the Big Bang. Big Bang. Ah. Oh, that's good. Oh. Ah. Oh, George Carlin did a great bit on sharing a sip of water and the swallowing sounds and the gulping and stuff. Oh, it's a great bit if you could check it out. Check it out, man. I can't do it. He had that microphone pressed right up against his throat, making all kinds of weird throat noises. So anyway, let's take a look at this. This is the album of the day. This is my first introduction to Iron Maiden was Iron Maiden. Yeah, I got this cassette from the swap meet, Lake Elsinore swap meet, the Peddler's Village. They closed up in the 80s when, late 80s, early 90s, when Home Depot came to town. I think it was the 90s. Yeah, Home Depot came to town and they bought up the property and Peddler's Village was no more. I bought this cassette and instantly fell in love with the music and the lyrics, and I had always just heard like classic rock type stuff before. So this was my introduction to hardcore rock and roll, heavy metal stuff. I mean, really, like, something that I could call my own. And Running Free was like my jam. Yeah, just 16, a pickup truck, out of money, out of luck, got nowhere to call my own, hit the gas, and here I go. I'm running free, babe. I'm running free. I just gave myself chills. I just gave myself goosebumps, dude. Yeah, it's a very sick album, dude. Fuck. Yeah. That's, wow. That one really brings it back because I used to, I was in junior high. I was a loner. I was a stoner. I didn't have anybody like me around. I hadn't really found anybody like me yet. I had found someone similar to me in the 5th grade, but he was yanked out and put into private school. And then I was moved out of town. And that was always the case. But, yeah, I used to sit alone in our school bus that we were converting into a motorhome. And I used to sit alone in there, and it was pretty much empty. And I would go in there and I would work, I would build and help construct whatever it is we were constructing. But I'd be alone, and I could put on my music, and I could sit in there and just scream those lyrics. And, yeah. That was heavy stuff. I was real disappointed after the second album that they changed vocalists. It destroyed me because I was so in love with the way it sounded that it was just, he just sounded like a normal guy who could sing rather than, you know, a super metal god like Halford or Dickinson. And, but, you know, of course, it was Steve Harris who was the driving force of the band, really. He was the writer and the composer of all the music. So, and along with Eddie changed a little bit in Killers. And so, with the continuation of Eddie and the same music and stuff, but the music changed too. The music became more... they were still telling stories, but the stories changed, and the melodies changed. and the depth of the music increased immensely. So overall, I was pleased once I found the time to sit and listen to what was the follow-up to Killers, Number of the Beast. Am I missing anything? I think it was. And then I'm going to say Peace of Mind. Yeah. And then I was able to go to the Power Slave tour. That was a great concert. Power Slave at the Orange Pavilion out here in California. My friends had gone and gotten tickets, and they got me a ticket because that's what we did back then, is we got each other tickets, so as many of us could go as possible and represent our tiny little town. And every time we'd go to a concert out of town somewhere else, there'd be like 1 million people from our town. So they got all these tickets to go to the Orange Pavilion and see Iron Maiden. My whole family was there, except for my mother. My brother was there with his girlfriend. My sister was there with her boyfriend. I was there with my friends, and because they had an extra ticket, I invited my father. So he went with us. So it was like most of my family was there. 4 out of 5. And that was a weird night. Hey man, is that your dad up front in the mosh pit beating people up? I'm like, oh Lord, yeah, that's him. What's his problem? Doesn't he know he don't get it? He don't get it. He went right to the front, right? My father goes right to the front of the stage because that's where the pretty girls are showing their breasts. And he's an old perv, right? So you gotta love an old perv. So he goes up there, a little titty watching, a little grab assing, and so he's standing right in the front, right up against the barrier. The only people in front of him are the security guard. And somebody bumps in. He tells me this story later. Somebody bumps into him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" He turns around, and somebody grins at him, and then slams into him again. And my father, without a fucking thought, just turns around and smacks the guy square-fisted right in his face, just whap, and the dude just goes limp in the knees and drops. And other people tell me this story too. It's like, oh my God, what did he do? Did he just knock that guy out? Yeah. And then he turns around and checks out the boobies and then what's going on, and the mosh pit happens, and that guy gets up and staggers off and wonders what's going on. And somebody else accidentally bumps up against my father, and he turns around, and they're all pumped up and looking all, and grins at him, and he just turns around and just whop, and drops another one. And man, why is your dad out there dropping guys? He don't know what a mosh pit is. I'm sorry. You can't take old guys anywhere, right? Because they fall asleep in mosh pits. Beating people. Yeah. So that's my Iron Maiden experience. Power Slave tour. My friends and I all dropped acid during the show. So we're like, or before this, right before the show, we took acid, right? And so it's up in the front. It's my friend driving, and I'm in the middle, and my father's on the outside, and then the back of my friend's brother's pickup truck with a little shell. We got like 3 or 4 people in the back, right? And they're all fucked up. Of course, it's when you go to a concert back then, you take a cooler full of booze and you get wasted. So me and the driver, we only just took a little bit of, I think we split a tab of acid or something. So we're just a little goofy by the time it's time to go home. So we're cruising home, and my friend, who's on a half a tab of acid, is driving. And we decide to get off the freeway and just take the back road home between Corona and Lake Elsinore. You can get off at Tom's Farms and take the back way along B15, and it kind of meanders around the 15. And it's kind of a windy drive, but there's never any cops, and you don't have to drive, 55 miles an hour. So we're cruising along this back road at about 35, 40 miles an hour, just cruising along, having a good old time. And so my father's there, and he hasn't, he smoked a little weed, but that's about it. So he's fine. And my friend and I are just kind of cruising along, and it's kind of quiet up front because my father's kind of a buzzkill sometimes. And all of a sudden, we come up over this little bitty rise on the road, and in the headlights, in the glow of these yellow headlights, across the road hops this little kangaroo mouse, right? And he just hops across the road real slow, and we just kind of cruise up on him real slow. So it all kinds of happens real slow and surreal like. So all of a sudden, my friend and I just start snickering and then laughing, and pretty soon we're both just in tears, and he's trying to keep it together driving. And finally he just very nonchalantly pulls over and stops the car, puts it in park, puts on the emergency brake, gets out, walks around the truck. At this point, my father is already getting out of the truck and walking around the side of the truck to drive, just shaking his head, thinking, why wasn't I driving home in the first place? And we're like, yeah, no shit, huh? But it was just hilarious. And we sat over there in the front of the truck. We probably should have gotten the back, but we sat in the front of the truck next to him and just tried real hard to keep from giggling the whole way home. Yeah. Iron Maiden. Yeah. Yeah, baby. So that's one of my the early years experiences. Yeah, when you have parents that are kind of hip, I guess, then that kind of stuff happens a lot, and you wind up having the cool parents, even though in your world sometimes it seems like these are the worst people in the world. But to all of your friends, it's like, wow, these people are awesome, man. Your parents are cool. Your parents are so funny. They're so nice. They're so this and that. And I'm thinking, yeah, you don't know the half of it. But it was weird, to have that kind of relationship with your parents when everybody else had a completely different relationship with it. Oh, I can't take that home. Here, you hold on to that for me. I can't go home yet. I still look buzzed. I can't do this and I can't do that, and my parents will kill me. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Aren't you gonna get? Yeah, right. Don't you have to call? We ain't got a phone. Well, don't you have to go home? I don't live at home. Well, or don't you have to go home? I don't know where home is. Seriously, I would stay with friends for so long that when I would try to go back to find my parents, they would be gone. They would be in a completely different place. There was no cell phones, and we never had a phone because we moved around so much. We nary had a house, let alone a phone, right? So I would lose track. My brother and sister and I and my mother and father would lose track of each other. In the 80s, we didn't know where the fuck we were at. By the time it was the 90s, by the time we were all adults in the 90s, there probably went a decade when I didn't know where anybody in my family was. Mainly because If they didn't care, why the fuck should I, right? So there you go. Me, the early years. Yeah, what a joke. Oh my God! Totally, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Okay. I'm going to put this up there. This is Vienna Vienna. What is this? Wonderland? Is that the name of this album? Vienna Vienna Wonderland. My signed, autographed copy of Wonderland, Vienna Vienna. Jay was very cool and accommodating. And I got some great photos. Of that night, and one hanging out with Jay. So I'm going to put this one up there because today we're also inviting Jay to come out, and at some point I'll stick it in the what you call it, in the description, in the title, the Vienna Vienna, so that at some point we can get Jay to at least, if not come to Joshua Tree, stop by the channel and say hi. I decided that this season, my last season here, I'm going to start reaching out to people. Last season just means that I'm not going to do any more season 1, season 2. I'm just going to, this is it. Season 4 is going to go on as long as it's going to go on. Last season went on 120, 100 and some odd episodes. So I'm just going to let this one go on indefinitely. Mainly because with my health, I don't know. Who knows how this is going to wind up. But I decided that this season I'm going to reach out to various people, friends, family, celebrities, whoever, you know. Mainly people that people whose work I enjoy, or people who I admire, people that I think are just cool, you know. And Jay, Vienna Vienna, fits the bill. So does Joey, you know. So Joey's welcome here, and dude, you're welcome here anytime. All you gotta do is, man, I got like a couple of days off, and you know, you're gonna pick me up at Palm Springs Airport, man, and just come hang out for a couple of days. Fucking come on over. Yeah, totally. I'll put you on the show. I'll make you famous. I'll make you famous. Yeah, like I'm real famous. My YouTube subscriber count is hilarious. How it bounces around. It goes up 1 and goes down 2, and then goes up 2 and down 1. I mean, it's just hilarious. You know, I went up to 193 and then lost somebody. Probably because the other day I was speaking my mind. What the hell did he just say? Did he just say something against God and country? Oh my God, that's it. He ain't a patriot. Kill him. I'm a patriot. I just ain't your kind of patriot. I don't fear God. So I guess I'm not I guess I'm a heathen. That's just the way it is, man. I mean, I see things differently. And if you can accept that we all see things differently, then we shouldn't have a problem. You know, if you can't get over yourself and your own hubris and how, you know, entitled you are, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. Get over yourself and, you know, figure that other people are different. Then not everybody has to be alike. We don't all have to pray to the same God. Of course, that argument starts, you know, a war every fucking day in this world. How dare you be different than me? You're different. Get out of here. This is you don't like it. Get out of my country. Give me a break. Give it over yourselves, people. See, there I go again. There I go. So let's see. What was I talking about? So like I was on the beach, and I was like naked from the waist down, and I was playing guitar, and I was just cruising. I think I had shoes on, but I was like butt naked. Just butt naked, right? guitar was kind of, my junk was slapping up against the guitar. True story, hand to God. That's the time in the 80s, 87, 88, maybe 88, when I took my friends, 3 or 4 of my friends, to Black's Beach in San Diego, La Jolla area, right? Black's Beach is a nude beach here in California. Unofficial nude beach, so you can get arrested down there on the right day, on the wrong day. Heavy duty stuff, man. So we, grabbed a bunch of crap and we just, let's get on the beach. Well, what beach? So we beach hopped a little bit and then wound up down at Black's Beach, and it's a hell of a hike. Like, dudes, it's a hell of a hike, dudes. So it's like we hike down there, and we get down there, and it's like you walk 100 yards down the beach and everybody's naked, right? And it's like, wow, man. And it's like my friends sit down on a blanket and they're just like slack-jawed watching all the naked girls go by, right? And I'm like a veteran hippie kid, right? And so I've seen nudity and sex and stuff since I was just a little tiny kid, right? I'm talking tiny kid, like 5 years old. I'm watching people banging, right? So, yeah, I had way too much knowledge of stuff when I was young, which screwed me up completely in the future. My teen years were horrible because of the amount of carnal knowledge I had, right? So, anyways, so there's my friends all going, right? And one of my friends is trying to be cool, like, yeah, man, it's cool, So he takes off his shirt, So I'm white. I'm a white motherfucker, so I don't want to burn. So I just drop trowel and yank off my shorts and throw them there on the blanket and grab the guitar and walk. And they're like, oh my God, what is he doing? And I look over I want to go meet some girls. I grab my guitar and start walking down the beach, strumming the guitar. And I'm like 19, I think. 19 or 20. And I dare say I might be even 21, but I'm right in there. And I'm just, I'm, like I said, veteran hippie kid, been through a lot of shit, seen everything. So this is nothing new to me. I used to go here with my father all the time when he was going to school there, and I was in 4th and 5th and 6th grade. I would go down to Black's Beach, right? Not to mention that I grew up in like Sierra Madre Canyon and in Hollywood, where nudity and sunbathing was like, general practice. So that was pretty cool. But we're down there, and I'm like, the other guys are like, they're stuck on the blanket because they all, of course, cannot stand up. Poor guys cannot control themselves. And I'm like, yeah, it's cold, And it's a beach, it's warm, So I'm just dangling. I'm just walking, cruising around, dangling, like I said, junk slapping up against the back of the guitar, And girls are walking by. And because if you're not naked, they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to look at you, they don't have anything to do with you. If you're walking around with a boner, they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to look at you, they don't have anything to do with you. If you're standing over there up against the rocks, jerking off, they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to look at you. But if you're just walking around, playing ball, playing a guitar, yeah, they want to talk to you, they want to hang out. They assume that you're used to this, So my friend got up and chucked off his shorts, the one who took off his shirt, so he's strutting around. No, I think he had on a shirt too. It was a button-up shirt. It was open. So he's out there strutting around, Yeah, so that was a true story of when I was young. I won't give you names of the people who were with me because it might embarrass them. And they're not here to defend themselves, so there you go. There were a few experiences where that group of friends and I went down to San Diego area. We did the Del Mar Fair down in San Diego County a couple of times. I've been there a number of times. My wife and I saw Peter Frampton there in the 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. We saw them, Peter Frampton, and then we saw later, in Vegas, we saw the Doobie Brothers. But I saw the Doobie Brothers back in '79 at the Del Mar Fair. They were awesome. They were awesome. Saw Bachman Turner Overdrive there with all of my friends and stuff. In fact, on the way back, there's this Border Patrol check, which is weird because it's like, almost 100 miles from the frickin' border. And there's this Border Patrol check. So you got to go through, and they just use it as an excuse to fuck with people. So they look, and they pull us over, and they're giving us shit, and find that we got weed, and start fucking with us about weed and stuff. And then they all get calls on the radio, and they all say, "All right, get out of here," and let us leave. And we're just hammered, and we got all this pot with us, and the place smells like pot because we had just lit up. And I was like, "Oh shit, we're getting to the border check." So, but that was one of those things where we just lucked out. Yeah, it's a weird thing to have there. But yeah, we used to go down to San Diego a lot because there was never anything to do it in our hometown. Wow, look, it's 6 o'clock. So I can do that now and change cameras, right? So you can see my Pringles can. So there's this orange-yellow sign on the wall here that says warning. Anybody want to take a guess at what it says? Anybody? Anybody? No? Well, I'm going to take a hit here and think the Jeopardy theme. All right. Do, 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 bling, bling. All right. Here we go. So the last comment here is from Joey saying, "I'll come to Joshua Tree." Yeah, I'm waiting for you to knock at the door. I mean, let me know when you're here at least, so I can open it till the dogs don't bark. Sun's coming up. The sky is getting a little colorful. Just a little. Hey, that's it. That's exactly what that sign says. He's a smart guy. See, he pays attention. I'm too broke to pay attention. Really. Mainly because I spend my money at thrift shops and junk stores and stuff. Yeah, but can you tell me what album I was talking about for next week? Oh, it's cloudy there. It's not too cloudy here. Not too cloudy. I'm going to start seeing chemtrails here soon. Tremcales, that's what we'll call them. Yeah. Wow. Brain fart. Yeah, I can't remember what it was that I was going to play next week. don't remember. I don't remember. Well, I really need this show to help my memory, because when I'm talking every day and trying to recall stories and trying to recall facts and things, it really helps my, what do you call it? Old age, my cognitive skills. You know, hand-eye coordination, I'm not real good with, so playing the video games can help that. No, really. Dude, so iconic, bruh. So iconic. What I want to do is set up a camera outside, time-lapse, and get a time-lapse of all of the planes that, because, I mean, it's heavy. We're right in the area of in the crosshairs, so to speak. Get it, crosshairs. Chemtrails. Yeah, right in the crosshairs of a bunch of different airports and stuff, and military bases. So, yeah, it's the sky is always. I wake up in the summer, and the sky is like blue, perfect blue. Well, nowadays it's kind of a blue-gray, and then within a couple of hours, there's no more sky, and it's just the hash marks have kind of grown into a thick haze over us, and it's crazy. 'Cause that never happened when I was a kid. You know, it was condensation trails, and they'd go out, and they would just go. They would follow behind and dissipate as the aircraft went forward, and that doesn't happen anymore. So it's like, wow, man, physics is just like one of those things that can just be manipulated, you know? Wow, it's crazy. How do we make that whole condensation trail just stay there? How do we make it just stay there? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either, man. It's just totally fucking with my head. Well, I once again this morning I forgot to put my display behind me, and I purposely made that display so I could have this thing behind me. You know, I'm gonna get a sign. I think I'll get a little sign from my desk that says what day it is, and then I think I'll get a little sign back here somewhere that says like open, or you know, live on air. That'd be cool. Live on air. I don't know, maybe this month. I don't know. I just keep thinking about how do I open a museum, right? Because if I were to take all of these items that I have here and everything that I have in storage in 3 different places, I could create this great real life studio museum kind of living art exhibit type thing. That's kind of an art installation museum piece, really. That's the way I see it, you know, because there's so much here, and so much to be shared, you know. Totally. Isn't today the day that TV guides start? Or, let me go, pardon me, oh my goodness. I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna walk over here and I'm gonna grab some TV guides to look at. Because I'd like to have one of those every week. And then we'll like read it on Tuesday. my God. No weird man. No fucking weird man. My TV guides are buried behind a bunch of crap. I gotta dig them out. Be patient, I'll be right there. Ooh, incense. Ooh. Okay, I got a couple of piles of TV guides here. Let me grab some more. Drum kit. Oh, drums. Oh, look, Mork and Mindy. Okay. I'm back. I got a pile here, and I got 4 more piles there. Oh, pardon me. Okay. Whew. Okay, here we are. So, what is today? Today is April 4th. So, we are looking for, and when does it start? It starts, yes, so today's Friday, so the new TV guide starts Saturday morning. So, we're looking for April 4th in 5 stacks of TV guides. April something, early April, October, November, October, September, July. Look at the little house on the prairie. That's great. Little drawings. March 20th. Let's see. Let me go back to camera 1 here. July, August, July, January, March, April 2nd, March 27th, April 2nd. So that's a possibility. That's a pissabolity. And Jack Palance of Bronx is on the cover of that one. Jack Palance. There we go. So let's see. Let's take a look at another. Gotta move my pillow here. I had dogs sitting here on this little ottoman here. Okay. Then we got January, April 14th, and the 20th. And I'm just going to try to pick TV guides with the appropriate month and somewhere 22nd, 28th, around March 28th, April 3rd, so we're closer. Yeah, April 3rd would be Friday, so April 10th to the 16th. December, August. So these, there's a lot there for April. That's great. So I'm going to try to do this every week, where I'll gather up the appropriate TV guide magazines here. October, November, March, January, November, June, September. Hey, that's Bob Dylan. September, January, December, July, June. And then I'll have to organize these to make this a little easier. February, March, the end of March, October. Isn't that cool? Isn't that totally cool? Let's see if I get any more for this month. I think I've got them for just about every month. October, March, the end of March, February, August, July, and August. Saturday Night Live. That's nice. That's great. What year? 78. That's great. Phil Donahue in October, December, August, February, May, August, Starsky and Hutch, August, September, November, August, May. Oh, one more stack. One more stack there, buddy. May. October. May. February. January. Marchieri. Oh, December. Look, it's Benji. It's the Benjis. It's Invasion of the Benjis. Okay. November, December, October. Wagata, January, February. Another April. And a May. So we're going to have to go through and pull out all the Mays. Oh, Mother May I. Okay. So let's pull out one that is appropriate for this week. March 27th, April 2nd. 14th to the 20th. 28th, 22nd to the 28th. 28th to April, March, okay, so that one, March 28th to April 3rd, and April 10th to the 16th, so that one would be going here, and the 23rd through the 29th, so that one there, that one there, that one there, and then these two. So we have 2 TV guides for next week. And they are, I should put these at their Aprils. Jack Palance of Bronx and Johnny Carson. So let's see here. I can do my table here because I don't care what's on my desk. It's the whole purpose I have this desk here. Except there's a slight glare, so I'll have to tilt them a little. So there's Jack Palance, and there's Johnny Carson. And there you go. Totally cool beans, man. Yeah, that's a little better. Anyways, what's going on, I say? Orale. Oh my gosh. There's Bernadette Peters. Ooh, Bernadette Peters. Man, what a knockout. Uh-oh. Cold coffee. You know what that means. Trip to the microwave. A trip to the wave, man. How'd I go to the wave? Far out, man. Telling you, things are getting tough. Things are tough all over.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. All right, I got to find another book to read. I like to bounce back and forth between fiction and nonfiction. And nonfiction, it's got to be learning about somebody or something, right? It's got to be finding out, and I prefer firsthand. Although I just found out that President Jimmy Carter used to write books, and he wrote a book on, I believe it was the Revolutionary War. And I'm like, wow, I could learn about the Revolutionary War from one of my favorite presidents. In fact, he is my favorite president, Jimmy Carter. He was he was such a good guy from day one on to the last day, you know. And you can't say that about any other president, ever. That he was just such a good guy, and he was honest, and he was forthright, and he was true to his cause. He never wavered, you know. He gave up everything to take care of other people right from the beginning, from being governor on to being president. He was just a great guy, you know. He wasn't well received and well liked because he was such a good guy. And there, you know, when you're surrounded by assholes, they don't want a good guy. They don't. So there you go. And then if you are a good guy and you get in there and you go along to get along, well, you wind up an asshole too. I was an asshole. Well, I probably still am. For the longest time, because I just went along to get along. And yeah. So, what was I... This is March 27th through April 2nd, 1976. And March 28th through April 3rd, 1981. Wow. Okay. This is heavy. This one here was, I was in Cub Scouts, and we were just getting ready at some point to do the 4th of July parade in Lake Elsinore, California. So at this point in my life, I was living in Lake Elsinore in a campground in a motorhome. And it was a borrowed motorhome from the guy. The guy we borrowed it from was the guy we used to run drugs out of Mexico for when I was a little kid. Right? So we're using one of his motorhomes, and we're using my grandmother's car. It was a Pontiac, a red Pontiac, I believe. So we pretty much had nothing of our own. But at the same time, we had, my sister had this huge, giant, full-size playhouse that was made of wood. It was like a shed. It was like a small shed, all wood, painted pink and white. My father probably got it in a drug deal, as he did with the 2 mini bikes that he got for us on our birthday. So for our birthday one year, living in a trailer park in a motorhome on the lake, my parents gave us each these huge, giant, extravagant gifts. I got a mini bike because that's what my brother got, so we each got mini bikes, little 5 horsepower dealies. And my sister got this playhouse. Of course, they only lasted the length of time that we were there or the next place, because by then they had to be like sold off or traded for something or whatever, which was usually the case. So that was 1976. In 1981, we had actually gone full circle and come back to Lake Elsinore. In 76, we were in Lake Elsinore and then bounced around Southern California, living in Fallbrook for a while, and actually going out to South Dakota and Nebraska for a period of time, and just kind of bounced all over, a lot of times living in campgrounds, like in a tent, because once the guy took the motorhome back, all we had was a car and a tent. So we did that. We bounced around in Southern California for a couple of years until we wound up in Fallbrook in 1970. I want to say 77. And then from there we went back east again, and then wound up in Temecula. And after Temecula, we spent a couple of years in Temecula living in a house that my grandmother rented for us. My father's mother. And then we were back in, let's see, by this time, what is this? March, April, May, June. So at this point, we were still living in a trailer park in Murrieta, California. We had come back and left the house in Temecula, and then went, and my father bought a school bus in '81. And from then on, we spent several years living in that school bus as it was slowly converted into an RV. Never made it the entire way. He had it for decades, and it never made it to an actual motorhome status. Got close, but no cigar. And so at this point, I was in the 7th grade, pardon me, and we're living in this mobile home, and there was no bathroom in this motorhome. Seriously. Because it was just a school bus. At this point, it still had seats in it, school bus seats. And so we needed to live at an actual park, a trailer park, so that we'd have access to a bathroom and showers and stuff. So if we wanted to go use the restroom, we had to get up out of the bus and hoof it across the trailer park to the restroom, and hopefully it was like available. Sometimes it was broken or closed for cleaning or something. What a drag, huh? And then of course when you shower, you got to come back to the place all wet and stuff. But a lot of people from the trailer park, even though they had their own facilities, they would use the park shower and stuff. Send the kids out. You guys go shower. So I'd always see my friends or my brother's friends and stuff out at the showers, which was kind of neat because it was kind of a social thing for the kids. So at this point in my life, I was in the 7th grade and was unused to the idea of having like 6 classes in a day, one of them being PE. And it was weird. It was weird. And of course, I started the school year late. So I was the late kid, then I was the weird kid, and then I was the stinky kid because we didn't have a shower. So it was, shower, when we can get to the facilities. So sometime, and my parents were notorious for not doing laundry. So so I would get called, my sister and I, or whoever I was in school. Sometimes it was just me in that grade or in that particular school. But I remember that year, it was middle school and it was elementary school in the same school. So there was one principal, and my sister and I both got called to the principal's office because she was only a grade behind me at this point. She was in the 6th grade and I was in the 7th grade because I had gotten held back in the 4th grade. So we got called in and got this stinky kid lecture from the principal. And it was like we had to lie. It's like, yeah, our laundry machine is broken, and we've had to go to the laundromat. My parents are busy because they work so much, and all of this is a fucking lie. My parents were passed out at home while we were at school. So that was then. So what would I be watching on Saturday morning if we had a TV? And we did have a TV, I believe. So, yeah. Late tonight, early in the morning anyway. Early in the morning at 8 a.m. is Space 1999. So I might be watching that if there's nobody else awake. Chances are there's nobody else awake. And I'm going to sit and watch, an hour of science fiction, probably. What else is happening on Saturday morning? Ooh, Fat Albert. TV Guide is this from? Pennsylvania, Randor, Pennsylvania. There you go. And what else do we have on this morning? We've got stuff like, well, Fat Albert. We've got women's tennis, Frankenstein's daughter, 30 Minutes, which is a high school journalist show, Tarzan. Woo-wee. Hee-haw. Good old episode of Hee-haw. At 3 o'clock, Comancheros, golf. The classic Hilton Head. Alright, totally Nashville music. Stella Parton. Don't know. Pro bowling. Star. Oh, Star. I thought it was Star, exclamation point. It's Start. Start the Revolution Without Me. Gene Wilder, Donald Sutherland. That's cool. That's cool. I could watch that, yeah. Right on. Well, let's see. Is there anything here that says time period? Giant slalom skiing event of 1981. Kel Burnett and Friends. This is all repeat stuff. Rockford Files, Wild Kingdom. Oh, there we go. Dance of the Grebe, Part 2. Lake Manitoba. Waterbirds. Right on. So what's going on tonight? Mainstream. 8 is Enough at 8. Love Boat at 9. And Fantasy Island at 10. Oh, Hill Street Blues at 9. So there's something that I'm actually watching right now is Hill Street Blues. So that's pretty cool. I'll have to look to see 2 episodes at 9 and 10 right after Barbara Mandrell. Do you remember the Barbara Mandrell show? Come on, you guys. You all know. We remember the Barbara Mandrell show. Totally. Don Kirshner's rock concert. Yeah. Now that's pretty heavy. WKRP in Cincinnati. Riker at 10. But what's the CBS News special at 8:30? Well, let's check it out. Let's tell a little bit more about what's coming on at 8:30. A tribute to Chet Atkins, guitarist Chet Atkins. Wow. Roy Acuff, Foster Brooks, Charlie Daniels, Jimmy Dean, Statler Brothers. I bet Jerry Reed is on there. Why didn't they say Jerry Reed? Well, how come Jerry Reed's not on there? He's still alive at this point. Was he blackballed? Because he should have been hosting that thing. Chet Atkins. Come on, they were like best buddies. They put like a half a dozen albums out together. Jerry Reed and Chet Atkins. Okay, so CBS News special at 8:30, hour-long special. Inside Hollywood, the movie business reports on the economics of producing, advertising, and showing movies, including the sex and scare fair aimed at young audiences and deal-making at the Cannes Film Festival, which correspondent Charles Kuralt calls a microcosm of the business. Charles Kuralt. I love that guy. I could sit and listen to him all morning long. This is Sunday Morning with Charles Kuralt. The program features clips from such hits as Empire Strikes Back, Airplane, Kramer vs. Kramer. Yeah. $38 million Heaven's Gate movie. Wow. That's pretty cool. And Hill Street Blues, here we go. Series pilot repeat. Okay, so they're just starting season 1, and then at 10 is season 2. Hill and Ranko. Oh yeah, the Salt and Pepper Cop team. Charles Hayde. What an interesting guy that is. That Renko character in that. Charles Hayde was actually a friend of Henry Winkler. And he actually stayed with Charles Hayde when he came to Los Angeles. I believe he stayed on his couch for a little while until he got the boot. But that's cool, because I just finished the first season of Hill Street Blues, sitting here, and what I'll do is I'll be editing video here, and I'll have episodes playing over here, so I can, I can't do this stuff in silence, and I got to put on something that just kind of plays itself. So I'll push play, and it'll play episode after episode after episode after episode. And I usually like to have something visually stimulating, because I'm working visually. I don't know, it's just the way I am. It's just the way I am. Sunday. Yeah, this is a bummer that I don't have a Los Angeles one. Let's take a look and see what this one is all about. Where does this one come from? Well, this one says Randor, Pennsylvania too, but that's where their home office is. So I don't know if they mean their home office is where it's or what. And it just doesn't always say. I can usually tell by looking at the channels and what's on the channels and what their number is. I don't see channel 5 KTLA here, so this is not Los Angeles, which is the TV guide that we used to use back then. We had to use an antenna or have cable to get the signal out of Los Angeles. All right, let me see if I can find this. I just love these things. 1976 was pretty heavy. I mean, they had the elections, and that's when Jimmy Carter got elected. And then the next elections, of course, he was beaten out by Ronald Reagan. Politics. And let's see. Well, I never. Central California edition. Ah, okay, so this is pretty close to us. This would be Central California, so this would be like up in, between LA and San Francisco. So there you go. So what's going on Saturday morning when I was 8 years old? 8 years old. We're living in a motorhome. We probably had a little tiny black and white TV that we would sit and watch together. So let's see, Saturday morning would be 10 a.m., really? American Bandstand at 11:30. Marilyn McCoo. Ooh, baby. Tanya Tucker. Nice. Fat Albert at 12:30. You know, I'm still a big Fat Albert fan, and I think it's a great show for kids. Of course, the guy who created and starred in the show did did not learn any of those lessons that he taught us. That's unfortunate. But, you got to be able to separate the art from the artist. And when it comes to comedy, I try to do that. When it comes to, most art, I try to do that. I try to separate the art from the artist. Otherwise, we wind up with piles of burning books and shit like that. So, there you go. I still have a lot of Bill Cosby comedy records. A lot of people would just, oh, fuck, I just thrown everything out. And that happens when they find out. Like, back when I was a kid, they would find out that somebody in the group was gay. And they would, I'm throwing all that shit away, the fucking faggot music, and they'd throw all the music away, the stuff that they'd spent hundreds of dollars buying, and they would get rid of it because they disliked something, a personal trait about one of the members or the band in general. Oh man, I didn't know they were all gay, and they'd get pissed off about it and just throw their shit. And I'm like, give me a break, get over yourself, dude. Like, it's that important for you to care what the fuck they do in their private life, right? It's you're there for the music, but what? You care what they do backstage? Give me a break. Give me a break. Get over yourselves, people. Yeah. Not gonna make that happen no more, man. That's just fucked up. Warp Space 1999 again. So it looks like I would have been watching that kind of stuff. Yep. Or National Geographic, The Hidden World, The Animal World. That good old Nashville music. Saturday evening. What are we going to watch on Saturday evening? Hee Haw is on. Sandy Duncan and Danny Kaye and Pinocchio. Oh. Oy. Oy. Are you kidding me? Nope. That's horrible. Yeah, buddy. Oh, Rona Barrett looks at the Oscars. So I guess the Oscars are the next day, right? Hickey and Boggs, 1972, reunites I Spy team of Robert Culp and Bill Cosby. How serendipitous is that? In a violent tale of murder, mobsters, and bank robbery. Culp also directed this melodrama in Los Angeles locations. Wow. How informative. Rosalind Cash, Carmen, Vincent Gardenia, Bill Hickman, Michael Moriarty. Heavy stuff. That's cool. I'd have to watch that one alone because my family would never let me watch that one at 9 o'clock at night. They'd want to watch some other. Okay, so if that's what I'm watching, what would my family be watching at 9 o'clock at night? They would be watching whatever they were watching at 8 o'clock, continuing to watch. Almost Anything Goes, game, 60 Minutes, no. They wouldn't be watching that. Images of Aging, no. Dodge City, Errol Flynn. Yeah, that's probably on because of my father. Errol Flynn, Western. I was just thinking about watching that movie the other day. Dodge City, the English guy, Errol Flynn, as a cowboy. Hilarious. Yeah, I gotta watch that. But I would probably have preferred to watch the Robert Culp, Bill Cosby reboot of I Spy. Hickey and Boggs. Well, it's not a reboot. It's just a repairing. So that's cool. That's totally cool. Dance in America. Bob Newhart. Bob. At 10, we got Carol Burnett, The Untouchables. Discover the fat. Dissolve the fat right out of your body. Do high school at home in your own spare time. And then Sunday. Well, let's see. We got Saturday night. What's on Saturday Night Live? Nothing. There's no Saturday Night Live. What the bloody hell? What the bloody hell? Is NBC not here? Sunday, bloody Sunday. Yeah, not much going on Sunday either. U.S. Farm Report. Gosh, that's great. Basketball, grandstand. Well, I'll tell you what. Right in the middle here, there's this whole record and tapes thing here. Let me go ahead and press this. All right. 11 records or tapes for only $166. Right? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's the Columbia House Record and Tape Club. And they got some great records and tapes to choose from. So you can choose records, 8 tracks, reel-to-reels, and cassettes. Wow. That's fucking awesome. The fact that you used to be able to order reel-to-reels. Take your pick. Oh man, send me some reel tapes, man. What would I order out of this thing? There's a lot. There's a lot here, man. What do we got? Anything good that stands out? Some Al Green's greatest hits. Three Dog Night's greatest hits. These are all ones that I actually have. God, I've got so many of these. That's crazy. The Osmonds, Percy Faith, Cher, Helen Reddy, Diana Ross. I've got all of this shit. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah. So this is 76. So this is all old stuff. Sweet Desolation Boulevard. I actually have that one. Barbra Streisand, Butterfly. Got it. Carpenter's Now and Then. OJ's Family Reunion. Ohio Players Fire. Got all of these, man. Simon and Garfunkel. Jeez, it just goes on and on. The Burt Bacharach's Greatest Hits. Michael Jackson Best Of. Michael Murphy. Yeah. It just... Yeah, I wouldn't know what to order really at this point. ZZ Top, Fandango, Traffic, Heavy Traffic. Well, I'd probably have to find some ELO here and order a shitload of ELO. At this point in my life, I was really into ELO on the radio. Look at Kraftwerk, Autobahn. That is cool. Yeah, Cat Stevens' Greatest Hits. Outlaws. So the Outlaws were supposed to be one of the openers when I saw the Rolling Stones in 1978. But they got busted for some reason. And Ella Fitzgerald got sick. So they brought in Peter Tosh, who had already been on the tour. And they brought in Christopher Cross. And that was at the Angels Stadium in 1978. That was a great show. Fantastic show. My father won the tickets off the radio, off KMET, and was on the freeway and just shot off the freeway and went to payphone and won the tickets. And it was happening that day, so we had to go to the store, grab some supplies, go to the stadium, and it was just crazy. It was a crazy day. But we got to see the whole fucking show and stay all day in line. What happened to you guys? My mother, like, what happened to you guys? Well, you see. No phones. Yeah, crazy stuff, crazy stuff. Well, the house is starting to wake up. Dogs are roaming around. I got to warm my coffee again. I think it's time to do a last bong hit and start the day. It is official. The video time machine has been loaded, and it checks out everywhere except for one little portion of it is denied in Russia. And rather than go and fix it, I just let it go as it is, because it's always one little place, and it's usually some place in Russia that doesn't allow to use the copyright on one particular song or piece of video or something, and I don't know why. So it's blocked there, and that's fine. You know, I mean, I'd love for my audience to be everywhere, but you can't always get what you want. Once again, I'm going to have to do something with that window, because it destroys my picture every morning. Okay, I am going to go ahead and get my, well, there they are. There's my end credits right there, waiting. Just waiting. Kitchen's open. So next week I am going to be doing readings from our TV guides for this month. They are the 28th of March through April 3rd, 1981, and 27th of March through April 2nd, 1976. So that's pretty cool. Once again, shout out to Jay, Vienna Vienna. At some point, if you get any of these messages, hit me up, and we'll see if we can't get you out here, or at least get you on the phone to say hi and find out how your tour was, and as well say, you know, let you know how awesome I think your album is. Pretty fucking cool. And what else have we got going on? Yeah. I think today I'm going to be working on the weekly program guide and graphics for that, and start working on a schedule for next week. One thing I really need to do is get some paint so I can paint up my boxes for the daily themed portion of the show, and start filling those boxes with goodies. Each box should have each Friday should have a new TV guide or two in it. Every day should have a record or tape, or we should have books, we should have games, we should have just about anything to look at and talk about and explore coming out of these boxes. So yeah, next week we're going to get more into that. This week's kind of been really fun, getting back to the swing of things. Teeth or no teeth, I'm going to be doing this. Hopefully in a little while I'll be coming back at you with actual teeth in my head, so that you can see how funny I sound that way. Won't that be neat? Anywho, thank you so much for hanging out today. I can't wait to come back on Monday, because I've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, and y'all can help me pick out a new book if I haven't done that yet. Alright guys, I am going to boot up this end credits and let you guys know that yeah, what was I gonna say? I love you, man. Right. There it is. There's the end credits booting up. Okay, people. As always, I will be back on Monday, and be nice, be kind to each other, spread peace and love. Do something nice for yourself, but do something for somebody else, because you can do that, and it makes you feel good. But most especially, people, stay weird, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody going to do it for you. All right, love you. Adios. Bye, Joey. Talk to you later, brother. Call me. We'll do lunch. You knucklehead. Adios. And I'm going to rewind the credits a little bit so that, well, I can actually share them with you because I didn't push a button. You got to be good at pushing buttons on this job, and if you're not, you screw shit up. All right, people, adios. No, really, I'm out of here. Go on. Go on, get out of here. Go on. I'll see you on Monday. Yeah. Yeah.